Hello friends, Convivial Neighborhood Riza here, and if you're watching this video, I've had to activate emergency contingency code named Baby Bear, and this is part 2 of my alarmingly comprehensive Galaxy nail art tutorial. If you haven't seen part 1, this video won't make as much sense, so please direct your clicking finger down to the description box below and follow my link to part 1. Come back when you've seen it. If you've ended up here in part 2 by way of having already watched part 1, welcome. I already showed you all sorts of inspiration and sample nail art in the previous video, and then I discussed it and demonstrated magnetic and Milky Way style galaxy nail art. In this video, part 2, we're doing nebulas and we're doing smush marble galaxies. I hope you found part 1 helpful and that you find part 2 just as helpful. To kind of jog your memory, one of the nebula style manis that I have done is an attempt to do Orion's belt. I did include a picture of it right here. I don't know if if this is be upside down. You know, I did what I can. But anyway, so here are the kind of nebula things that I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and define a nebula. But first we have to define an interstellar cloud, which is an accumulation of dust and gas, and sometimes plasma, I think. Nebula is a distinct body of interstellar cloud. Sorry about that quick cut. An alarm went off. So you can see various colorations of gas, and it is pretty cool to look at. This not so much. This is more the Milky Way style stuff. But anyway, so those are some pictures of nebula type things. Here is a really cool looking thing. It's called M106. I don't know what that means. But you've got some various clouds here and a couple of really bright, beautiful stars. So that's the nebula that we're talking about. So the way that that's really going to differ from our Milky Way style nail that we've already done is that the clouds of gas are going to be more scattered. Now I did a true black with various glitter particles polish. This is a polished gamer's box polish by Nevermind. I mentioned in the first video that I collect interesting blacks and interesting almost blacks, so super dark purples, you know, and these polishes I collect tend to have some glitter and some various interesting particles in them. So how am I going to turn this into a nebula? So we're going to use the same technique of using white in advance of the colors that we want on the nebula. But we're going to use it apart from each other, not like an exact band of light. So let me go ahead and grab from my sponges in here. I'm going to use a looser sponge for this work. It's just really easy for me. I know some people use a makeup wedge for everything, but they're so dense that I don't get the kind of squish. Anyway, I have a video planned eventually to do all sorts of different sponges and show you what each one does in the comprehensive way that I tend to, but you know, that would be plenty of research and experimentation, and tell me if that sounds like it would be fun to you. Oh, by the way, do please like, comment, and subscribe. I neglected to mention that in my improvised intro. So we're gonna do the opaque white. This is Sinful Colors Snowy White again. It's just a really good all-purpose. I also use the LA Colors from, what's the word? From Dollar Tree. This one is one, it's got an X on it because I thinned it out with clear polish to make it into a jelly. The real difference from the Orion to this, what we're going to do here, is this one I used sheer white, so a jelly white, before I used jelly colors. So that it would be a little more subtle, because I find that that picture of Orion that I saw looked more subtle. So you can do jellies if you want. I'm going to use creams here because I want a more solid looking mass of clouds. Okay, so I should have grabbed my paper towel. I like to have something that's not my silicone mat to dab things on. but I've let it dry enough that I can probably just put it on here. All right, so we've got a little bit here and a little bit here. And I think I like that. You know, you don't want to go ham or go overboard or whatever. You want to kind of have it be something that you would expect to see in a picture of a nebula. So you can always look at pictures. Google is your friend. Now what I'm going to do is I have collected a bunch of different polishes. Whoops! I dropped some things. All right, anyway, I'm going to use a really bright neon pink because that's what came out of the bag. And then I will use this to give it a little bit of contrast. And last but not least, should I do that? Yeah, that'll be fun. It'll be more like, maybe like this sort of an idea here, okay? So I'm still going to use my star stamping plates, but that is later. So right now, I'm going to grab another piece of sponge. Remember, I'm just pinching off these bits of dry bit. And normally you would use tweezers. I don't really have anything appreciable on my nails. I don't have anything that I want to keep awesome. So first we're going to do this darker, more, you know, vibrant color. A lot of times I'll do the less vibrant colors first, but I kind of wanted to define the area with the larger, with the brighter stuff. You know, polish. That's that tool that we use, the ingredient in our magical nail art. All right. And I do apologize if this isn't the best sound. The new microphone I got isn't performing great, and so I'm using my headset again. Goodness gracious. It's not an ideal situation, but... And this is pretty sheer, so I'm just using the brush to apply it. But I do want a decent amount to be there. I'm going to kind of blend it into the pink. And now, oh, there's bits of fuzzy everywhere, which happens when a project lasts all day. You're trying to film. We have no AC right now, and I've had to shut down the fan that's in this area of the house, which is like 85 degrees. It's not the most fun. That's Fahrenheit, 85 degrees Fahrenheit. I'd be a goner if it were 5 degrees Celsius. All right, so this isn't perfect, but it's a cute little idea. And this is actually a design where I'm going to go back with a little bit of the white to cover. I don't like the transition of the gold to the pink as much as I could. Put a little bit too much on there. I'm going to dab that down. Just a little bit of white to change how that interacts with each other. So I put down, with that last dab, I put down more white than I wanted, but I'm not going to put down any more yellow, gold, whatever. I'm actually going to go for this. And then I'm going to do a little bit of, let's say, just a clear sparkle. This is a Dollar Tree LA Colors topper. You can do this afterward too. I'm going to be, to give the glitter some depth, I'm kind of applying it at every layer, at every stage of the game, if that makes any sense. So there's some sparkle in the base layer, there's some sparkle in all the subsequent layers, not corresponding layers. Anyway, so now we're going to go ahead and put some nail art on there. Let's use this. Now this is a lot of stars, too many stars. You can use a dotting tool to kind of remove some of these. I like to make it kind of random by putting down a little bit, an edge of my Scotch tape. but it's not always the best idea. I just kind of move my stamper around. And I did put a few stars here. We've got a blank space over here. I don't like the huge blank spaces in my nebulas and galaxies, so I put one little dot there. And now I'm going to put the top coat on. Let's put this away. Always clean my plates before I put them aside, because you never know when you're going to need to use it again in the same video. Or just period if you're not making a video. All right. So, you know what? More glitter. I might regret this, but I'm showing you all my process. I like this particular glitter a little better than others. This is also from a Dollar Tree. All right. That was almost a catastrophe. That lid was not really quite on. I could have lost all of it. That's a few layers. It'll take some time to dry. It helps if you use a quick dry top coat, which is what I'm doing. I'm probably getting polish all over myself. And there's our nebula. I hope that was a good example. Next thing we're going to do is smoosh marble. So when I've shown you in the past a smoosh marble, I've used stampers to kind of squish the colors together and then apply them to the actual nail. Now you'll notice I used a black base here. This is the matte version of a Sinful Colors black. I don't remember the name of it exactly, so let's look at it. It says it's called Blacklist. So anyway, what we're going to do is you got to make sure you get your proportions right for your galaxy or nebula as far as what you're doing with your smoosh marble galaxy. Okay, so you see these proportions here. I've done some estimations, and I'm going to try it at 60 to 70% dark, 30 to 40% medium color, and then one white or super light polish for a random effect. I'm going to use the same purples that I used in the Milky Way so we can get a really good idea of the two different techniques side by side, okay? So let me grab my purples. Again, I'm going to pull out all the purples I had in the last video. You probably noticed, because I pointed it out, that I used, oops, this is bad. I did that. I put away this polish without the lid screwed on at all, and I just pulled that out. That could have been an absolute disaster, and I escaped scot-free, I think. All right, what else do we have here? I didn't like the look of these glitters, so I'm not going to bring this back. I am going to bring this back. This is from the sticker collection by Linby Designs. I think it's still available. The name of this is As If. These are jellies with just the most beautiful additions in there. I've used them a lot. And then here's our final color, I think. If you're wondering what these are, I kept meaning to show you them. I've done various appropriate galaxy art bases. So here's Alice, which I've shown you already. And here is the Gandalf polish from, I think it is, mixed with black from, the Gandalf polish is from the Graceful collection that launched relatively recently. I'm going to bring this out. I'm going to see what happens if I smush, if that's my white. All right, so there's also a method of smoosh marble saran wrap. I might actually try that in a bit. It depends on how this turns out, okay? So let's see. I don't know if this works yet. I got this just in the mail the other day. It was a couple bucks. It does work. The idea is to not waste lint rollers all the time and to kind of be able to clean that off with acetone or an acetone-free cleaner. I'm going to use this method first, though, implied, but probably didn't say. The first color, this is like stamping, right? So the first color that you put down is what's going to be on top, is what's going to show. Oh yeah, this is way too sheer. Let's go ahead and... This is actually a Franken polish that I've made, so ignore the logo because it's nothing like what actually came in the bottle. All right, let's do this. Remember, we are not going to want to do a lot of light, so here's some of my dark. I'm going to put some of the black in there, but only a minor amount, because remember, I do kind of want this to be purple. And then we're going to put a bunch of this in there because this is only like iridescence in a purple tone. Put some more of this. I'm not sure if this is going to work out. I'm not doing the right proportions here. Let's see what happens, huh? So I smush those together. And then, well, I didn't wait as long. You get a kind of a solid grouping if you wait a little bit longer, and it'll apply as kind of like a stamp instead of just glooping it all together. But I'm in the middle of this for a demo, so I'm going to follow it to the end. Nope, I'm not liking that very much. If you don't like what you create, you can always touch it up with some directed little strokes. I told you I use my fingers a lot. And then I'm going to cover up some of this white because I don't want it all in a ball. And some other stuff came off there. So what I'm going to do now is use just a little bit more white, but let's try the sheer over here. You can use a makeup wedge to blot instead of your finger, everybody. Don't do as I say, not as I do. All right, let's put a little more iridescence down here. Let's try to use the tools I'm telling you to use. That's okay. I'm liking that a little bit more. And then just a little bit of white back. I covered too much white. All right, so I like that. I'm gonna get it a little bit closer so you can see things really firm up when you use a, what's the word? When you use a top coat. I'm gonna try this. If I recall correctly, this is a kind of a tint instead of like a jelly finish, instead of being really solid. I'm gonna put that down in a couple places. And now I'm going to top coat. And we'll set our creation. The top coat is like this. I keep not fastening these. This is a quick way to a big mess. Again, do as I say, not as I do. All right, so I'm picking up this Seche Vite. I'm going to go ahead and top coat it. This is what I do differently. You'll notice that in the other ones, before I applied the top coat, I did the stamping. This one's going to need to sit for a while because it's thicker. It's one of the reasons I like to do nail press-on nails for this particular technique. And then we're going to get to see in a few minutes, I'll be back, and we're going to get to see what that looks like with stars. So tune in, and don't forget to tell me what you think in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this information, please do like the video. Welcome back. I have allowed this nail to dry, but before I show you my Smoosh Mani samples and talk about them, I wanted to make sure that you saw the Nebula example with the satellite, and also there was one more nebula I wanted to show you. I already did show you this one. Okay, so let's talk about these three nails. So this one with the blues and the white, it was as is. So I didn't do any directed applications of the polish brush like you saw me do in the example we just did. This is what happened. This is what I made. This one, the purple one, I did kind of adjust. I smooshed it, and then I was like, well, I'd like a little bit of this here, and I'd like a little bit more white up there so I can put more pink there. And that is why that nail looks like it does. Number 3 is a green and gray kind of galaxy that I ended up not being incredibly happy with, and I covered it with some galaxy nail art. Fun fact, this coloration and this shape of flower, this cone flower, these are echinacea. And if you've ever taken an echinacea supplement when you were sick to increase your white blood cell count, hey, that's a really, you know, helping your immune system, galaxy. I associate those both with positivity and goodwill. So I don't know. I don't know that there's really a logical reason why I chose to do echinacea. I just liked that I did it. All right, so those are the smooshes we see before us. All right, those are the previous examples. Now I'm going to show you how to put stars on if you don't have a star stamping plate. So I wanted to kind of switch up the method here. We have 2 little tools. One is a toothpick and one is a dotting tool. I have many dotting tools in many different sizes. And you do want to vary your sizes if you're hand applying your stars. Now remember that you can apply a white star and then like kind of put a little bit of a little bloop with your dotting tool of sheer color over it to try to make a different color star. Like there are blue stars. There are all sorts of stars. All right. So I'm going to put one up here, which I automatically don't like, but I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to grab a paper towel so that I can wipe off my dotting tool. I'm just wiping it like this. I'm going to drop things. I'm going to try with a toothpick. So I have 2 different things that I do with the toothpick. I'll use the point, but I'll also cut off the point to give me a little bit wider star. So first things first, we're going to get a couple of tiny stars. All right, maybe now, I don't think we need any bigger stars. Let's try a little less here. And then one up in the right corner, I think, tiny one. We want maybe a cluster over here. Not perfect. I'm gonna try a little different thing just to see if it works. I don't know why I'm choosing this color, but I only have a little bag down here of things. So I'm going to see what happens if I apply a star. No. So I'd probably have to use, like, I was trying to show you something blue. Well, that wasn't the best technique, so I'm going to forget it. All right, so I've got my little stars here that I applied with various. This little bit here is kind of bugging me. We came by it honestly. It is part of the Smoosh Mani. But I'm going to see what I can do here with this purple. And I'm going to grab a glob of it with this end of the dotting tool. And I'm just going to cover that up, because it was bothering me. And now I like this Smoosh Mani galaxy nail really quite a lot. As usual, I'm going to use some sort of glitter, layering the glitter at every stage. And it really does help the stars sort of fit into the picture. The plates, I can't really show you all the plates. It's just this is too long a video. So I'll list a bunch of plates down in the description box below. Okay, so, and I did tell you about the option of using jellies. to get a more subtle look. And I think that's going to do it, except for if you're doing a galaxy nail art, this is a good top coat to use. I always use something thicker over it, but this is Northern Lights. I don't know that it has a name. It's the silver. Oh, Northern Lights is the name of Out the Door with the silver hollow in it. So I'm just going to put a quick layer of this over. I haven't really shaken it very much, so it's going to be really sparing on the glitter because we've already put a bunch of shimmer into this, right? So I'm going to remove the paper towel and show you everything that we've done. Thank you so much for joining me today. Did you like these galaxy nails? Did you like the full access tutorial, comprehensive, all sorts of examples? We had a fun time, I think, maybe. Let me know. If you enjoyed it, please do give me a thumbs up. Also, subscribe. It doesn't just help my channel grow. It joins you to this little family of people and we like to keep inspired. So anyway, I'll be releasing a new video in about a week, hopefully less, for longer stamping nails. This is by popular request, and I'm working on it. So everything else is in the brainstorming stage, and I get the Mani by Me box sometime this week. So look out for all that content. Make sure your notifications are on. And inspiration is everywhere. Just keep those eyes open, okay? Have fun creating. Until next time.